Hello, this is another video of the series, how to get through your conversion in applied psychology or similar. I haven't done a video in quite a while, I've been really bad, but this video hopefully will make up for it. This video is going to be focused on how to use your summer break. As I've mentioned in my previous videos, I'm currently studying a 2-year conversion course, MSc in Applied Psychology, and I'm doing that at RGU, Robert Gordon's University in Aberdeen. So I've just completed my first year. That ended, all exams and assignments were all submitted by mid-May. The exam board was in early June, and thankfully I passed everything. So I'm able to proceed on to year 2, which is the final year of this program. So the period June to September is summer break, and I had big plans for all the things that I was going to do during the summer break. Some of it I've done. I've done some different things, and I thought it'd be helpful for people who are maybe just starting out in year 1 perhaps, or thinking about starting year 1 in the near future, how to plan for your break. The course I'm doing is 2 years, so this will be my final year, and that will consist of 4 modules plus my dissertation, which will mean that my summer break next year disappears, because that is when the dissertation gets submitted. So this is the only point in this program where I've had this chunk of time to relax and do other things. So there's some practical and useful things that you might like to consider doing on your summer break. So generally, the courses you do, whether it's a 2-year or a 3-year version of this course or similar, you will have that long break, and there is an acknowledgement that you work really hard. Most people are doing it simultaneously while working, either full-time or part-time, have kids, have families, whatever. So this is a good opportunity to take a break, so I would encourage you to do that and relax. But if you want to carry on a theme and continue your education, continue keeping up the discipline to some level, you can try some of these things. They might be interesting. So the first thing that I planned to do, and which I did do, was catch up on reading. So through each of the modules that I did, there was quite a lot of recommended reading. Some of it was essential for the module, it was essential for the assignments and for the learning each week, but our lecturers were very good at sharing additional reading material that might be of interest. It's not directly relevant to your assignment, but it might be of interest, it's related to the topic. So the summer break's a good opportunity to revisit some of that optional additional reading that you might have missed out, skipped over. So definitely go back and do that. You also will find that during your studies, you'll make notes of things here. People will mention authors or articles or whatever. It's a good time to revisit your notes to see if there's any little nuggets you were interested in reading more about and you never got around to because you were so caught up in the week-to-week coursework or your assignments. So spend some time catching up on all that reading, because it's really useful. I've really enjoyed doing that. And also similar, catch up on any activities that you skipped over. So again, during each of the modules, there are additional activities that aren't directly related to the coursework, they are related to the coursework, but they're not related to the assignments. So you might feel that you haven't got time to do it or do them all. So it's a good time to go over all those activities. And another thing around reading and activities is tough topics. So through the modules, you'll find that there are some subjects, some subtopics that you find really challenging, or ideas that you find difficult to digest. It's a good opportunity to not forget all of that and move on because you passed the module, but go back and revisit those topics and try and get to grips with them, understand them. And you can do that by reading the textbooks that go along with the modules you're studying. Look at the chapters related to those, reread them, do the end of chapter questions. I don't have a textbook to hand, but every textbook, at the end of it, there's questions after each chapter. Go back and do all of those for the areas that you find challenging. That can be really helpful. Look at YouTube as well. That's another good place to look for explainer videos on various topics that you might have found tough. For example, I found the module we did, it was called Understanding Psychology 2, and that really focused on statistics. So SPSS and other programs are available, but SPSS was the program that we used, and I really did struggle with statistics and getting my head around it, so I spent a bit of time revisiting it. I actually purchased the student version of SPSS so I could play around with it, practice. There are a number of books related to that I looked at and had to practice exercises, so I did a bit of self-study practice just to feel a bit more confident with statistics. Even though I passed the module, it was a small part of the module, and I knew in my head I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't really understand it, so I went back and did a bit of revision and study. So things like that you can do. And I found YouTube explainer videos helpful in that regard. Another thing that you could do is start thinking about your dissertation. So I'll be starting year 2 in September. My dissertation, I don't think we start working on it until March, I think. So it's due during the summer break. So I think it will be due next June or July. So I've got a bit of time. But I know I'm going to be really bogged down with coursework and my day job and my family. So I wanted to get a head start thinking about my dissertation. It's absolutely not essential, and I know that you get a lot of support as part of the course. The tutors are really good at supporting you with your dissertation. But if you feel you want to get a head start, have a look at the guidelines from the previous year. What were the guidelines? What did they look like? What was some of the rules around the dissertation? How did it work? Try and look at what previous year's students did. Start reading around the topic you're interested in. You might not have fully formed an idea, like me. I haven't really fully set on an idea or research question, but start thinking about it and start reading around that topic. And start thinking about what kind of gaps there are in the research that you could potentially talk to your dissertation supervisor about. So that's what I'm going to do, because I know that between September and December I'm going to have a meeting with my tutor and that's going to come up. So I wanted to be informed. Helpful to think about the type of research you might want to do as part of your dissertation. What do you like? Qualitative, quantitative? How might you find your participants? What kind of people do you have easy access to that would be ethical and also interesting for you to research on? These sorts of things. So just to start thinking about your dissertation. You obviously can't start working on it, but start thinking about it so you feel more confident, I suppose. That's how I feel. And again, going back to the SPSS, if quantitative research is what you're interested in, and you think you might do some quantitative research as part of your dissertation, you might want to get a package like SPSS. You might want to pay for a subscription. Now's a good time to do it. Familiarise yourself with it. Another thing, which may or may not be of interest, and I probably will do another video on this specifically, but you can start to plan your future career or your future study. So my plan is to apply for a clinical psychology doctorate. I won't be applying until 2023, so the earliest I could be getting into a program is 2024. But it doesn't hurt to start mapping your personal competencies and experience against the BPS competencies. And you can look for the core competencies of any psychology program you want to go in. So you can start to see where your gaps in knowledge are. You can start to build a picture of where are the areas that you might want to focus on over the next couple of years to build your knowledge and experience and beef up your CV a bit, I suppose. But I think I'll do another video on that. So if there are any specific questions about that, let me know. Networking. Now, this is a fun thing to do. It's fun for me. I might do a video on this as well. But it might be helpful to spend your break meeting people in the field, meeting psychology professionals in your area, through the uni or through your NHS trust or any other place where psychologists might hang out. It might be educational psychology that you're interested in, which case, schools, whatever, the local authorities. But try and meet people in the field that you're in. Find out about local relevant volunteer organisations. They can be a really good source of information, support. If you want to do some volunteering, that might be something that might give you a bit of exposure to an area of psychology that you haven't had before. And events, local events or online events. I've found Eventbrite really helpful in finding local events. So there are lots and lots of free and paid for events that go on around every topic around psychology. So it's definitely worth getting on there and having a look. I know that there are weekly psychology, I can't remember what they're called now, but it's basically a weekly catch up where the week's research in psychology is discussed. That's quite interesting. There are various seminars and workshops on positive psychology, resilience, trauma-informed HR, lots of things. So it's worth having a look at that because all of these things build your knowledge, expose you to different people and different ways of thinking, and potentially are useful for your CV if they have CPD points or if they're quality events. So I think that's probably my main things that are useful to do during your summer break. Obviously catching up with family and friends because you know that the year ahead is going to be quite tough. So you want to make sure you get all your socialising done in the summer so you don't feel so guilty in the coming months. And relax because you'll need it. So I think that's all I'm going to say on the topic of summer breaks. If you have any questions or there are any other specific videos that might be helpful, please do drop me a comment, and I really appreciate if you would subscribe. Thank you. Bye.